I talked about introduction to meditation in a recent video, and a question that I got from that video is how can I uh, add meditation to my already busy day, more or less. So let me read the entire comment. How do I know if I should do meditation? Because it can take away my limited time from doing other things. Okay, so the unfortunate oftentimes seen as unfortunate answer that people don't usually like is you wake up earlier and you add time to your day to meditate. Now, that means you have, okay, so you have an established schedule, and that established schedule has a lot of things inside of it. And now, when you add meditation to it, then what happens to the time that you spend to do other things? It's crammed, right? So you might need to remove other things. And if you don't want to remove other things, then what do you need to do? You gotta make time, right? And how do we make time? Well, nobody's really awake for the full 24 hours, so you sleep a little less. Okay, so every time I offer this, 99% of the time the resistance is, I don't want to. Okay, that's fine. Right? It's very understandable. I used to be the type of person who valued sleep more than anything else. And so I completely understand that perspective. But the thing is, then something that you could really entertain, right? I'm not encouraging you to like meditate. I'm not saying it's like a silver bullet for anything, but something that you could try, thinking about is this. If someone gave you $1 million if you woke up at a certain time, you would wake up in a heartbeat, right? And if you, depending on your personality, if somebody asked you for a favor in the morning, then you might be able to do it, right? And again, depending on your personality, if you're the kind of person who performs well with the accountability partner, then you would wake up for them, right? So this means you would wake up for a lot of different reasons. But meditation is this thing that it's this time that you spend with yourself, fully dedicated to yourself with no extra other noise. And this is indication that you don't really want to be yourself, right? Meditation, why it's good, why it's oftentimes recommended is there's really valuable insights that you get by spending a lot of time with yourself. So you know how friendships, even though the friendships can be very mature, when you take a road trip with your friend, you get to know parts of them that you didn't know very intimately. It's the same thing with you. You because you're the driver of your life, typically, you think you know a lot about yourself. But the more time you spend intimately with yourself, the more insights that you get about yourself, right? And the common distracting factor is like, oh, what if I resurface all my trauma and things like that? So, of course, if you have a personality that tends to overworry, or if you have a psychiatric issue that's going on at the moment, then I would advise try other things like bowing or like getting medicated and talking about it in therapy, and then you can add meditation to your life. But in general, meditation is really good because it's an opportunity for you to be very intimate with yourself, and I think that generally leads to good life because you're the one who's living your life. You get to know yourself better, therefore you get to make better choices for yourself and such. But okay, so I would do a lot of things for other people and other reasons, but I won't do this thing for me. Why won't I do this really good thing for me? Right? That's something to entertain. And then you might be thinking, well, sleeping is good for me too, right? So am I not valuing my sleep? Okay, so this is where also a lot of people get confused. There's a very big difference between what your body wants, right? What's good for your bodily pleasure versus what is actually good for you, right? So, for example, working out feels horrible, right? Cardio. I hate cardio too. Just came back from swimming, feel like I'm gonna die. But it's okay. Like, I know it's good for my overall cardiovascular health and circulation. So, that's kind of the thing, right? When you eat a lot of veggies and when you abstain from eating meat, like, meat has a very low proportion of digestion, right? So most of the meat that you eat is gonna basically come out, and then that kind of like that's why meat tends to contribute so much to carbon emission, right? It doesn't really get the rate of digestion is so low. So when you eat more vegetables and when you eat more, more of a vegan thing just by choice, even if you may not be a full, on vegetarian or vegan, even by just adding a little bit more of that into your life, you're doing a lot good for the environment, you're doing a lot good things for your digestive health. But the thing is, why don't people do this? It doesn't taste as good, right? So who's in charge of your diet? It's your tongue, right? And it's less about you, the whole being. Your tongue gets to drive the decision, right? So there's a big distinction between seeking the pleasure of the body versus seeking the things that are really good for you as a whole. And things that are good for you as a whole might not feel good for your body. But after some time, you get to kind of become used to the feeling of your body being a little bit challenged, but you feel good, right? And then you eat meat, and then you immediately feel like the grease, and you immediately feel like the heaviness in your stomach, and it's very noticeable. So just like that, when you meditate, the more you meditate, when you're out of the group, you feel it immediately. Like I have occurrences where I get something like a trigger, right? And then before I would ruminate on it, and then I would be upset, and then I would just think about it over and over. But then now, as soon as it pops up, it's noticeable here. Wait, something feels funky, and then wait, I'm thinking this. Why am I doing that to myself? And then I can just stop, because why? I developed that sense through meditation. So, short answer is, how do I how do I know if I should meditate? If you don't have psychiatric issues that are ongoing right now, or if you don't have a lot of trauma that you keep resurfacing, then I think meditation is a nice thing to add to your life. What if I'm out of time? Well, you wake up early. What if I don't want to? Don't. But it's something to keep thinking about, like, why won't I do this thing for myself? Who's in charge of my body? I mean, who's in charge of my life? My body or me? And that is the thing to contemplate.